Reid Hoffman.
So who gave the order to flag records related to President Trump?
To flag records for President Trump?
To flag any records which included his name.
I'm not going to discuss anything about that with you, Senator.
Eventually, you're going to have to answer for your conduct in this. You won't do it today, but eventually you will. I yield, Mr. Chairman.
Ken, should she have had the answer, and does her not answering saying that Trump's guilty?
I think she played it political, right? I'm all about poker face. This is politics, right? So I'm keep it political, right? There's a way in media training for you to give answers that are non-answers, right? So you play chess. You keep your poker face.
Okay, for sure. Well, basically, she was also questioned about troops being sent all over the U.S.
Consulted by the White House before they deployed National Guard troops to cities in the United States?
I am not going to discuss any internal conversations with the White House.
You won't even say whether you talked to the White House about this?
I am not going to discuss any internal conversations with the White House with you, Ranking Member.
I noticed that. What's the secret? Why do you want to keep this secret? The American people don't know the rationale behind the deployment of National Guard troops in my state. The word is, and I think it's been confirmed by the White House, they are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
Yeah, Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
Been on this committee for more than 20 years. That's the kind of testimony you expect from this administration. A simple question as to whether or not they had a legal rationale for deploying National Guard troops becomes grounds for a personal attack.
Enzo, why is she personally attacking him? Why is she not answering the question? What do you think?
I'll start with the Epstein one on why she didn't answer that, because the person who came forward is an anonymous FBI whistleblower. They have not released the name yet. There's an ongoing investigation trying to figure out who it was. So she played it exactly how she needed to play it. They're not going to throw out a name there if there's no name to be said. This whole thing with the Epstein thing, like I'm going to keep saying it, is just a wild goose chase, the same way it was a witch hunt to bring down Donald Trump for anything for, let's say 10 fucking years now. I'm so sick and tired of hearing Epstein. Calling him out, they need to. He said it. I've been on this panel for 20 years now. What have you done for your city in 20 years? What have you done for your district in 20 years? And to literally sit there and say, well, this is the type of answer that I'm going to get from the Trump administration is, yeah, it's the type of answer you're going to get because you actually have an administration that's combating crime, that's combating illegal migrants, that's been taking over your city. They refuse to do it, so somebody else will. I guarantee if Joe Biden was in office, or even hell, Kamala Harris was in office right now, and they tried to do exactly what Donald Trump was doing, they would not be met with any type of force or any type of court opposition in this at all. It's because it's the Republicans. It's because it's Donald Trump. That's the only reason this is going on. I thought we wanted to make America safer. I thought that's what Joe Biden wanted. I thought that's what Kamala Harris was running on. They wanted to close the border. They wanted to fix the problem at the border. But now that Donald Trump is doing it, it's an issue. Make it make sense to me. I will never understand this. And I don't care about the means that Donald Trump is going about it when nothing was done for 4 years.
So we go play the clip that the audience is here for, was Trump and photos with half-naked girls.
Let me ask you something else. There's been public reporting that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those photographs in their search of Jeffrey Epstein's safe or premises or otherwise? Have you seen any such thing?
You know, Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me, Reid Hoffman, who was with Jeffrey Epstein on multiple occasions. And the senator sitting right next to you tried to block the flight logs from being released. Yet you're grilling me on President Trump and some photograph with Epstein? Come on.
The question is, did the FBI find those photographs that have been discussed publicly by a witness who claimed Jeffrey Epstein showed them to him? You don't know anything about that. Okay.
Slim, where's the masculinity? Trump hit a porn star. I thought the guys bragged about the girls that they get. So why are they hiding it?
Man, please listen, right? And Doc, you hit it on the nose, bro. They've been doing this shit for like 8 years, man. They try to lead into the shit to try to cause a narrative to basically make these delusional people believe, and I'm just going to say the Trump haters, just make them believe anything. They've been doing this shit for a long time, and I'm so happy it's being exposed. So Doc, salute to you for even breaking it down like that, because this is what I've been seeing for the last 8+ years, bro. So when it goes back to what kind of answers they're going to receive, this is why you're going to receive these type of answers, because you guys take fucking clips and then you change it up and then you try to make the narrative what you guys wanted to believe because you hate one guy. That's pretty much all it is. Damn with the Epstein files. Nobel Peace Prize for Trump. 4 more fucking years. Let's get it, man.
Me, I'm gonna play a clip with the notes because basically it just seemed like it was scripted of what she was doing. Oh, whoa. Wrong one. Is this it? Oh, I misnamed it, but I'll play one that she was basically attacking.
What conversation did you have with Mr. Ballard?
Senator Blumenthal, I cannot believe that you would accuse me of impropriety when you lied about your military service.
I am
you
not
lied.
asking
You
you.
admitted you
I am
lied
not
to be
accusing you
elected
of
a U.S. senator.
impropriety.
You
I'm asking
lied.
you
How
about
dare you? I'm a
conversations
career prosecutor.
with Mr.
Don't you
Ballard.
ever challenge my integrity.
had
I have
apparently-
abided by every ethics standard. Do not question my ability to be fair and impartial as Attorney General, and anything
You'll
with
answer that
my
question to
former
another of my
firm,
colleagues.
Ballard Partners.
Thank you.
Mia, I'm gonna play that clip, but you can go ahead and say what you're gonna say. But I'm gonna play the clip that you said. I'm gonna try to find it.
I mean, thou shalt not cast a stone without sin, man. I don't know. I mean, she's not wrong. I mean, everybody's sitting up, everybody on there are all dirty people. So, I mean, it's super hard to take people serious when they be no liars, they be no cheaters, they be taking money from pedophiles. I mean, it is kind of ironic to cast the stone when you yourself are without, you yourself are a sinner. So I understand why she's not answering the questions and why she's fighting back. It kind of is what it is. It's all political theater, but it is funny to me. I mean, they could have at least found one person that wasn't guilty of something to question her.
Right. So this is basically what they're trying to say, that is some type of blackmail. So I'm gonna play this.
Secretary Howard Lutnick on October 1 gave an interview to the New York Post about Mr. Epstein. And he described Mr. Epstein as, quote, the greatest blackmailer ever, close quote. Have you reviewed that transcript of that interview?
I have not reviewed the transcript, but I saw the clip of it.
Okay. It appears that Secretary Lutnick was Mr. Epstein's next door neighbor. In fact, their townhomes shared a wall. And the reporter that was talking to Mr. Lutnick, she asked how other prominent men could have been associated with Epstein when Mr. Lutnick could immediately sense that he was a, quote, pervert. And then Secretary Lutnick said, or rather the reporter said, did they see it and ignore it? Do you remember that from the interview?
I do.
And Commerce Secretary Lutnick said, no, they participated. And then Commerce Secretary Lutnick goes on to say, quote, that's what his MO was. You know, get a massage, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume, was a video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever, blackmailed people. That's how he had money, end quote. Is that true?
Senator, as our July memo said, we did not uncover evidence. This case has gone through 3 administrations, as well as former U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta.
I know that, Pam. But have you interviewed Secretary Lutnick?
No, Senator.
Do you plan to?
If he wants to talk to the FBI or the FBI wants to talk to him, that is more than on.
Don't you think you ought to talk to him after this interview?
Senator, if Howard Lutnick wants to speak to the FBI and if Director Patel wants to speak to Howard Lutnick, absolutely.
Okay.
Before we respond, I want to play who she's talking about. Lutnick is in the Trump administration. He's the Commerce Secretary. This is the interview that he's talking about.
An incredible story that you could pick up that he was a pervert.
It's gross. The guy's gross. Right with my wife. He's gross. The guy's gross. This was not, the deep nuance of Howard Lutnick. This guy's gross.
Right. So how come Bill Gates and all these other people could hang around him and not see what you saw? Or did they see it and ignore it? Or
no, they participated.
Right.
That's what his MO was, get a massage, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever. Blackmailed people. That's how he had money. So
what happened to those videos? Why is there now such a dearth of information when, Donald Trump's people are running the FBI and the DOJ?
I assume way back when they traded those videos in exchange for him getting that 18-month sentence, which allowed him to have visits and be out of jail. I mean, he's a serial sex offender. How could he get 18 months and be able to go to his office during the day and have visitors and stuff? It must have been a trade. So my assumption, I have no knowledge, but my assumption is there was a trade for the videos because there were people on those videos.
And have you talked to Donald Trump about this and shared your theory?
No, I mean, he knows the story.
Right.
But my story, that, I was the one and done with the guy. He knows that story, but that's it.
So, Ken, why doesn't the Attorney General want to talk to Lutnick, with such a salacious interview like that?
Because I went me on this. Like, there's like a certain point they're going to push. So you got the WWF aspect of it where they're going to drill just a little bit, but these are all part of the same fraternity. You know what I'm saying? They all know each other's secrets. This is their version of roasting each other. Yeah, your mama, right? They push just a little bit, but their children all go to the same schools. This is a continuation of Babylon, of Rome, of Greece, of Persia. It's not different, but we think it's different because on the class strata at the bottom, we got our sides, and we're just hoping that just one of them ain't with the get down. Yo, these are all part of the same group of people, right? So there's no pushing going on, because if you push too far, then you got to put your shit on the table too.
And to go back on what Ken say, he seems to hold himself of no accountability, as if to say, all of these people knew, but he says it was so apparent. If he had some sort of job of representing us and representing the people, and he didn't say nothing, he don't feel like he was part of the problem. Like all of them are complicit. They call those other people complicit and say he knew so sternly, he could tell. He said it was so easy for him to see. He doesn't hold himself accountable as being part of that keeping that going on. He acts like he just isn't a part of it. He just didn't say anything. Not saying nothing is a part of the problem.
For sure. Me, I'm gonna play your clip about the notes, and then I'll have you respond.
Remember yesterday when she gave that disastrous hearing before a Senate committee, and everybody was saying that it felt like she was giving a performance? Well, it turns out that she was. She was literally reading from a script. A Reuters photographer named Jonathan Erst noticed that Bondi flipped open her file during the Senate hearing, and he zoomed in, and inside he saw her notes about the senators. Basically, for each Democratic senator on the committee, she had scripted lines to attack them. Normally, the official being questioned would have notes that actually have facts and data and things that they could reference to answer their questions, but she was purely there for political theater. She was purely there to try to attack the Democrats, to try to smear the people who were trying to get answers. And so if you rotate this image so it's upright like this, you're able to see her notes about Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. She has a tweet here, and then she has her various lines that she wrote down that she could say when she's asked questions. For example, you claim to be a social justice warrior, but you're a member of, then it's covered over here. You rail against dark money, but you work with dark money groups. You are a total hypocrite. You talk about corruption, but you push for legislation that would. Here are her pre-scripted lines for if she's asked about firings at the DOJ, and here is her pre-scripted line if she's asked about Epstein. So what do you make of those notes, and what did you make of that hearing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, is it just political theater? Is any of this real? What's going on?
I mean, it's always all political theater. It's all political theater. Nothing that any of these people say or do is real in any way, shape, or form. Everybody's putting on a performance. Everybody wants to look good. Midterms are coming. It's all theater. Am I surprised she has notes? No, not at all. I'm not surprised at all. She wouldn't be the first person to go to any sort of meeting and not have notes with them. I am surprised she allowed it to get caught on camera. That does surprise me a little bit. However, I mean, it's all political theater at the end of the day.
Well, we talk about immigration a lot, and the guy that's over immigration has actually been accused of taking a $50,000 bribe.
Senator, as Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche recently stated, the investigation of Mr. Homan was subjected to a full review by the FBI, agents, and DOJ prosecutors. They found no credible evidence of any wrongdoing.
And that was not my question. My question was, what became of the $50,000 in cash that the FBI delivered, evidently in a paper bag, to Mr. Homan?
Senator, I'd look at your facts.
Are you saying that they did not deliver $50,000 in cash to Mr. Homan?
Senator, as recently stated, the investigation of Mr. Homan was subjected to a full review
different question.
by the FBI agents,
That's a
by
different
Department
question.
of Justice prosecutors. They found no evidence of wrongdoing.
That's a different question. What became of the $50,000? Did the FBI get it back?
Mr. Whitehouse, Senator Whitehouse, you're welcome to talk to the FBI.
The report to you, can't you answer this question?
Senator Whitehouse, you're welcome to discuss this with Director Patel.
Did Homan keep the $50,000?
As Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche recently stated, the investigation of Mr.
Never mind.
Homan
I can
was
see I'm not going to get a straight
full
answer from you to a very
review by
simple
the
question.
FBI agents and the DOJ.
Do
They
you know-
found no credible evidence of wrongdoing. You're very concerned about money and people taking money, and
Do
you
you
rail
know-
against
wait a
dark
second,
money.
wait a second, wait a
Yet you
second,
work with dark
wait a
money
second.
groups all the time, Senator
Wait a
Whitehouse.
second. Did you know?
I just want to take a poll of each of us. Does anyone have an issue with government officials taking bribes? I'll go first. Yes. Doc, what about you?
Nah, hell no.
Mia?
Yes.
Enzo?
Yep.
Ken?
It's politics,
Slim, you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. So I guess we would. Ken and Doc don't care. Y'all might as well run for office. So y'all.
No, this is the thing. we're talking about politics, right? So this is not good. Like, we have to adjust our expectations. What are we dealing with, right? So I don't deal with fantasy, right? And this is not about the world that I wish it could be. They are running for politics. This is about power. This is about fraternity. So in that realm, I have an expectation of that's what it is already, right? That's what it is already. Do I want my grassroots people taking bribes? No, that's something different. But if we are talking about senators, mayors, governors, what do we think this is? This is the American empire. It's an empire, and within empire, there's the rules are flipped upside down.
For sure. So I'm gonna play what this Democratic.
Well, my thing too, if I can add one thing to it, is that people are gonna take bribes. All of this is run on money. So I don't have a problem with them taking bribes. I have a problem with some of the people they take bribes from. I need them to use their discernment and which bribes I should be able to take, which ones is, maybe he bribing me and I'm still leaning this way, and it was a good thing, and I was already on that, on that train, like, and I believe this is, something good for the people, like. But if I could get if I get a bag out of that too, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, do your thing. I ain't tripping, because it's gonna happen anyway.
I'm gonna play this last clip. What you say, Enzo?
I'll wait.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna play this last clip and then we'll switch. All right.
It's valuable that the American people get a sense of what you've refused to answer today. So these are just some of the questions you refused to answer, or have answered with personal attacks on members of this committee. You were asked whether you consulted with career ethics lawyers, as you promised you would do during your nomination hearing, when you approved the president receiving a $400 million gift from the Qataris. You refused to answer that question. You were asked who or what role you may have played, or who played the role in asking that Trump's name be flagged in any of the Epstein documents gathered by the FBI. You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether Homan kept the $50,000 bribe money. You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether Homan paid taxes on the $50,000 bribe money. You refused to answer that question. You were asked, did career prosecutors find insufficient evidence to charge James Comey? You refused to answer that question. You were asked, how are military strikes on these boats in the Caribbean legal? And you refused to even answer that question. You were asked,
law degree,
excuse me. You were asked, did you discuss indicting James Comey with the president? You refused to answer that question. You were asked, did you approve the firing of antitrust lawyers who disagreed with the Hewlett-Packard merger? You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether you support a restoration fund for violent insurrections who attacked the Capitol on January 6th. You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether you were firing career professionals, career prosecutors, just because they worked on January 6th investigations. You refused to answer that question. You were asked by my California colleague whether you believe government officials, like immigration officials, have to abide by court orders. You wouldn't even answer that question. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing.
Enzo, you can respond to that clip and say what you were going to say before.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say before is I will never agree with the rules for thee, not for me. If we can't do it as American citizens, the people in the highest office should not be allowed to do it either. Vote those people out and get that out so all that changes. Never agree with that whatsoever. With everything in this hearing, it's just bullshit. These oversight committee hearings are complete bullshit. They're asking point blank questions that they know she's not going to answer because things are still being investigated. There's obviously classifications of some of this. They can't answer that on live TV. I mean, have a closed door session instead of just making a mockery of somebody. Most of them, like the James Comey one, that's an ongoing investigation. Of course, she's not going to answer that on national TV. The whole thing about the whistleblower, of course, she's not going to answer that because of we don't even know who the whistleblower is. Of course, she's not going to answer the one about the strikes on the boats because those are declassified, or those are not declassified yet. Of course, she's not going to answer any of that. Like, this is just stupid. Like, and these are our Congress members. This is what they would rather do. They would rather have these stupid oversight committees instead of doing their job as lawmakers. Political theater, touting around this Epstein bullshit for the last 4 months, not doing their fucking job. Like, I'm so sick and tired of Congress. I don't care if it's majority Republican, majority Democrat, or fucking split. Neither of them are doing their job. None of them are doing their job. And I'm getting sick and tired of it. And I want every single person out of office that's not going to do their job correctly instead of tout around all this bullshit. Like, are we serious? This is who we're voting in. These are the people that have been there for 20 years who never did anything for their constituents, get to sit up there and literally just lecture the administration because they don't like them, Republican or not. This is bullshit in my eyes. I'm so sick and tired of hearing this shit and seeing it every day.
Well, we're going to switch gears. So you said it at the perfect time. We're going to talk